What if I told you your life isn't spiraling because you're not trying hard enough, but because you're trying too hard? Think about it. All those restless nights overthinking every time you try to fix force or control a situation. What if that's why it keeps slipping away? Here's a truth you rarely hear: the harder you push, the more resistance you meet. But the moment you truly let go, not give up, but surrender, something shifts. Life starts to flow. Life teaches us through contrast, sometimes through chaos, sometimes through silence. We've been trained to believe control equals success, that managing every detail, outcomes, timing, people's reactions is the path to winning. We plan every move, telling ourselves if we just push a little harder, everything will fall into place. But here's the paradox: the more we grip what we can't control, the more stressed, anxious, and drained we become. Now, what if the real power wasn't in controlling, but releasing? That success, peace, and stronger relationships come not from holding on, but from letting go. This video isn't just about mindset. It's a shift in how you live. Stick with me to the end. You won't just feel lighter, you'll see life through a new lens. You'll discover where your real strength lies. Centuries ago, the Stoics understood this. Thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus lived through chaos, wars, betrayal, disease, yet stayed calm, grounded, even joyful. Why? Because they mastered detachment, not cold indifference, but clarity. They embraced a truth that most people still miss. You suffer not because of what happens, but because of your attachment to how you want things to happen. Epictetus, let that sink in. You're not in pain because things didn't go your way. You're in pain because you expected them to. You clung to a specific timeline, a certain response, a desired outcome, and when life delivered something different, you resisted. That resistance created suffering. Maybe you're watching this in the middle of a storm, waiting for the call that never comes, the apology never given, or the dream that remains just out of reach. And you're exhausted, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Life's weight feels relentless. Here's a hard truth: maybe you're holding on too tight, trying to control things that were never meant to be controlled. And the tighter your grip, the more peace escapes you. But what if you could face the same storm and stay centered? What if nothing outside you could steal your calm again? That's exactly what we'll explore in this video. You'll discover how to let go without losing, how to stop forcing and begin flowing, how to reclaim your power not through effort, but by focusing your energy where it truly matters. This isn't just another self-help video. It's about changing the way you see the world. Stick with me, because by the end you'll know how to pursue success without desperate chasing, find calm in the chaos, show up confidently without needing approval, and most importantly, stop being ruled by what you can't control. But before we dive in, I ask a small favor. If this message resonates, hit the subscribe button. It's free and it helps us reach more people who need this truth. Now, lad, let's begin. We've seen how releasing control creates space for peace. Now let's go deeper. How that same mindset can transform how we experience joy, love, and achievement. Here's the truth: the less you tie happiness to specific results, the happier you become. Let that settle. When you stop saying, "I'll be happy when," and focus instead on what you can control in the now, you begin to feel peace return. What can you control? Your actions, your effort, your mindset. Beyond that, let go. Picture an artist facing a blank canvas. If they obsess over every stroke, constantly second-guessing and worrying about judgment, the joy fades. Flow disappears. Creation becomes struggle. But if they detach from the outcome, if they stop chasing perfection and instead love the process, magic happens. They get immersed. Time fades. Their work becomes effortless. Ironically, their best art often comes when they stop trying to be great. And this idea doesn't just apply to art. It applies to work, to relationships, to personal growth. Because when you stop obsessing over results, you unlock the freedom to enjoy the process without pressure, fear, or feeling behind. Let's talk relationships. You've seen someone try too hard to impress, nervous, overthinking, trying to manage every detail of how they're seen. What happens? That energy, though well-meaning, usually repels. It feels forced, not natural. It creates resistance, not attraction. Now compare that to someone calm and confident. They're not chasing outcomes, they're just present and grounded. And the result? They become magnetic. People are drawn to them not because they're trying, but because they're real. Why? Because they're not operating from fear. They're not driven by lack. They trust what's meant to be will be. That's detachment. Let's take that same principle to success. Graduate by a certain age. Make a specific income by another. Be married. Be settled. Be accomplished. When life doesn't follow the plan, people panic, stress, question their worth. But success isn't linear. It's messy. It weaves through setbacks, surprises, and growth you never expected. If you're stuck on one version of success, you might miss the better version life wants to offer. So ask yourself, what am I gripping too tightly? Is there a goal or result that's causing me stress? Then ask, what if I release that grip just a little, not giving up, not losing ambition, but trusting that no matter how things turn out, you'll be okay? That's detachment. And no, it doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop needing everything to go your way to feel peace. There's a big difference between caring deeply and being emotionally dependent on results. Detachment is choosing peace, regardless of the outcome. So how do you practice this? Here are 3 powerful steps. Remind yourself daily, outcomes are not in your hands. You only control your effort, your discipline, and your mindset. Repeat that to yourself often. Reframe your thoughts instead of saying, I need this to happen. Say, I trust that whatever happens will be for my growth. That shift changes your relationship with the unknown. Be fully present. When you ground yourself in the present moment, the future loses its power to scare you. Focus on what's in front of you, not 10 steps ahead, just now. Realistic acknowledgement. Life isn't always easy. Let's be real, life will test you. Some days everything flows. It feels like the universe is on your side. Other days it's chaos. Nothing works and it feels like the world is against you. But here's what separates those who break down from those who rise. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's mindset. Because the way you think shapes the way you live. And if you don't learn to master your mind will end up mastering you. You can't control what's happening around you, the market, the people, the mess. But you can control how you show up in the middle of it. Life constantly throws curveballs, setbacks you didn't see coming, problems you never planned for, moments that feel unfair or too heavy. But here's the truth, you can't control what life brings. You only control how you respond. And that is where your real power lives. When you shift from reacting emotionally to responding wisely, everything changes. The chaos may still exist, but it no longer consumes you. You choose how to show up. The great psychologist William James once said, "The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another." That one sentence is the heart of what Stoic philosophy taught centuries ago. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it's true. Just because something painful happens doesn't mean it defines you. You can pause. You can reframe. You can see things from a different angle. Let's bring this down to real life. Say you're in a rough season at work. You feel off. You keep making mistakes. Your boss is annoyed. No matter how hard you try, it seems like failure. In moments like that, your mind may say, "I'm terrible at this. I'll never figure it out. Maybe I'm just not good enough." Sound familiar? That's a fixed mindset. It traps you in self-doubt and convinces you your struggle is permanent. But what if you chose a better thought? Something like, "I'm still learning. Every mistake teaches me something new. This pressure is uncomfortable, but it's helping me grow." That's the growth mindset. And that shift opens the door to transformation. It allows you to take what's painful and turn it into progress, into meaning. The Stoics knew this deeply. They believed every obstacle carries a hidden opportunity, a chance to strengthen your inner self, to respond with wisdom, to practice patience, to build resilience. Seneca once wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor strengthens the body." Think about that. Just as you hit the gym to grow physical muscle, your mind grows through lifting the weight of discomfort, failure, and pressure. Every setback, every tough conversation, every frustrating moment, it's all mental resistance training. And if you never face hardship, how would you ever get stronger? But let's be honest, this mindset doesn't happen overnight. Mastering your mindset takes time. It's not a quick fix, it's a daily practice. So where do you begin? Start simple. Start with your inner voice. What do you say to yourself when no one's around? Are you feeding your mind fear, doubt, and defeat? Or are you learning to pause, spot the pattern, and replace those thoughts with ones that are grounded and constructive? Ask yourself, am I reacting to everything or consciously choosing how to respond? Am I training my mind to panic or to stay focused in uncertainty? The thoughts you choose today shape tomorrow's emotions, and your emotions drive your decisions. Your decisions, in turn, shape your life. Your mind is a garden. Whatever you plant, whatever thoughts you water is what grows. Plant fear, doubt, and anxiety, and that's what will flourish. But if you nurture strength, calm, clarity, and resilience, those will take root. Over time, they become your default mindset. One powerful way to strengthen your mindset: stay present. So much stress isn't about what's happening, so it's about replaying the past or fearing the future. Our minds spiral into what ifs and regrets. But the only thing you can control is this moment. Next time you feel overwhelmed or anxious, ask, what can I do right now to move one small step forward? That one question can break the panic loop. It pulls you out of fear and into action, into what's real and within reach. Because progress doesn't happen later. It begins with what you do now. Now let's talk about patience. Patience is tough, especially when you've done the work, you've shown up. You've given your best and still nothing seems to happen. It's frustrating. We're told success should be quick. That slow results mean failure. But life doesn't follow your schedule. It has its own rhythm. Trying to force results often leads to burnout or worse, quitting too soon. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." Read that again. Anything truly worthwhile, wisdom, peace, success takes time. You can't rush it. You can't pull a tree's branches to make it grow faster. Likewise, you can't force life to give you your dream before you're ready. There's a natural order to things, and when you trust that order, you release a lot of unnecessary stress. Here's a story. A young artist dreams of being recognized. They pour their heart into every piece day and night, and they stay consistent. But fame, it doesn't come fast. Now comes a decision. Get discouraged and quit, or trust that every brushstroke, every quiet hour is building something, something that isn't visible yet. Artists who succeed aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who trust the process and keep going. And eventually, when timing aligns, they arrive exactly where they're meant to be. This isn't just for artists. We live in a world addicted to instant gratification. Fast food, fast results, fast answers. We're trained to believe that if something takes time, it's not worth it. But real things, they take time. True connection, real growth, mastery, inner peace. You can't rush these. They unfold slowly. They demand patience. Socrates once said, "To do is to be." In other words, it's not the outcome that defines you. It's the process. If you're always fixated on when something will happen, you'll miss the most important part, who you're becoming along the way. The real challenge, how to stay patient when nothing seems to move. How do you hold your ground when rewards feel out of reach? The Stoics would say, focus on what you can control. You can't control when results arrive. You can't always control how fast life shifts, but you can control your discipline. You can keep showing up, keep planting seeds, and keep doing the work even when it feels invisible. That's where the power lies, not in outcomes, but in quiet persistence. As you grow and evolve, trust this. If something is meant for you, it will come. Not early, not late, right on time. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you." In other words, stop resisting life's timing. If your results haven't shown up, maybe it's because you're still becoming the person who's ready to receive them. Stop chasing, start attracting. Have you noticed this strange pattern? The harder you chase a relationship or a goal, the more it slips away. Desperation creates resistance. But calm confidence, that draws things in. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Before you act, ask, why am I doing this? When actions come from fear of failure, of rejection, they're scattered and anxious. But actions rooted in purpose are grounded, powerful, and focused. A simple example. Imagine two people job hunting. One is frantic, applying everywhere, prime, refreshing their inbox constantly, feeling drained. The other is calm, selective, intentional, and steady. Who do you think lands the better opportunity? The one who acts from clarity, not panic. And this applies to relationships too. Neediness repels, confidence attracts. If you're secure, whole, and not desperate to be completed by someone else, you become naturally magnetic. Aristotle called it eudaimonia, living with purpose and virtue. Happiness comes from aligning your actions with your values, not chasing validation. Life moves when you do. Think of life like a chessboard. A beginner reacts out of fear. A master moves slowly with intention, seeing the whole board. Life is the same. If you panic, your decisions will feel scattered. If you pause and act with purpose, life starts to align. So ask yourself, am I doing this from fear or from clarity? That question can shift your entire energy because fear rushes. Purpose moves patiently. Slow down, reflect, choose wisely, trust yourself. You don't need to control everything. Seneca once said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Much of our stress doesn't come from reality. It comes from fear-based stories we tell ourselves. Letting go is the real power. Have you ever felt drained trying to control everything? You plan, push, and strategize, yet life surprises you anyway. It's exhausting trying to force people and outcomes and timing. But here's the paradox. The moment you let go, life starts working for you. Not because you gave up, but because you finally stopped resisting what already wants to find you. The Stoics understood this at a deep level. Epictetus once said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Let that sink in. Real freedom doesn't come from micromanaging the world around you. It doesn't come from perfect planning or controlling every person and situation. True freedom comes from releasing the need to control. Because the more energy you spend trying to manage what was never yours, to manage people's opinions, the future, the more you drain yourself. But when you shift your focus back to what's truly in your control, your thoughts, your responses, your actions, you take your power back. Let's take relationships as an example. Have you ever tried to change someone? Maybe it was a friend, a partner, a family member. You wanted them to be more supportive, more loving, more aligned with what you thought they should be. But no matter how hard you tried, they stayed the same. Why? Because people aren't ours to control. You can communicate. You can set healthy boundaries. You can decide who you allow into your life, but you can't force someone to change. And the more you try, the more frustrated you become. But when you release that need to control, you free yourself. And more importantly, you give the relationship room to breathe. You allow it to unfold naturally. The lesson applies to success too. Many believe pushing harder and working longer gets them there faster. But there's a key difference between effort and control. Yes, give your best. Yes, show up with focus. But if you obsess over every detail, stress over timing, and fear of failure, you're operating from fear, not strength. And fear creates resistance. Seneca said, fate leads the willing and drags the reluctant. When you resist life's rhythm and try to control everything, you create unnecessary struggle. But trust the process, focus on what you can influence, and things begin to flow. Picture this. You're prepping for a big interview. You've practiced and are ready. But instead of staying calm, your mind spirals. What if I mess up? That fear takes over. You walk in nervous, second-guessing everything. And that need to control, it derails your performance. But what if you took a breath and trusted your preparation? You'd walk in grounded and present, and that's when you shine. So how do you practice letting go? The Stoic Framework. Dichotomy of control, Sim 1. Know what's within your power, your thoughts, actions, intentions, not people, outcomes, or timing. Focusing on what's beyond you only causes stress. Step 2. Accept what is. Life doesn't follow your plans. That doesn't mean it's broken. Detours often lead to better paths. Step 3. Trust in the universe, in life, in yourself. You're more capable than you think. Why do some people seem to attract good things easily? They aren't lucky. They just think differently. They act from abundance, and abundance flows to them. Those who dwell in lack feel stuck, no matter the effort. It's not effort, it's energy. Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. True abundance isn't hoarding. It's knowing you already have enough strength, wisdom, value. When you stop grasping and start appreciating, you create space for more. Picture two people entering a room. One is full of comparison. They focus on what they lack, their energy repels. The other knows their worth. They speak confidently and attract possibilities. Same moment, different mindsets. Scarcity versus abundance. This applies to more than success, relationships, peace, even time. If you think there's never enough, your brain will prove it. But shift your focus and you'll find new possibilities. The world reflects your mindset. Sometimes all it takes is a shift from scarcity to gratitude. William James said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes. If you fixate on what's missing, you'll feel behind. But train your mind to see abundance and you'll feel rich in ways that matter. Start by practicing gratitude. Believe life isn't withholding, it's aligning. This isn't fantasy, it's neuroscience. What you focus on grows. Imagine two musicians. One believes in scarcity. They fear failure, avoid risks, and hesitate. Fear holds them back. The other believes in abundance. They see rejection as redirection. They take risks, stay open, and connect with purpose. And in time, they succeed not through luck, but through belief. How to start living from abundance. Begin with gratitude. Appreciate what's here. Your growth, your supporters, your resilience. When you value what you have, more follows. Act like you already have enough. Move through life knowing you're whole and worthy now. That belief shifts everything from how you speak to how you lead. Let go of attachment. Stop forcing outcomes. Trust that what's truly for you will find you not through fear, but through faith. Have you ever felt like you're running in circles? You've set a goal. You've worked hard. You've followed all the right steps. And yet the results aren't showing up. Not fast enough, at least. You start questioning everything. Am I doing something wrong? Why isn't this working? Do I need to try even harder? It's frustrating, right? We've been taught that success comes from nonstop effort, never stopping, never pausing, never letting go. But here's what most people never realize. There's a world of difference between aligned action and desperate action. And sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to step back. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca once wrote, "Effort and patience will achieve more than force and anxiety." We live in a culture that glorifies the grind, that idolizes hustle, that tells us, work hard enough and life will give you what you want. But real success, it's not just about effort. It's about taking the right steps, staying open to surprises, and letting life unfold at its pace. Forcing things creates tension. It's like pulling at a tight knot. The harder you yank, the tighter it becomes. Think about sleep. You can't force it. The more you try, come on, fall asleep now, the more awake you feel. But the moment you relax, surrender, it happens. Success is the same, so are relationships, so is personal growth. You still take action, but then you trust. Trust the timing, trust the process, trust yourself. Picture a farmer. He prepares the soil, he plants the seeds, He waters them. He ensures they get enough sunlight. But after that, he doesn't dig them up every morning, yelling at the earth, grow faster. No, he waits, he watches, he trusts, because he knows that growth takes time. If he tries to rush it, he ruins it. If he forces it, he loses it. And so it is with life. You plant your seeds, you do your part, you stay consistent, but then you step back and let life do what it does best. You allow the process to unfold naturally. Just like seeds grow at their own pace, so too does everything meaningful in life. This truth applies to every part of your journey, your career, your goals, and most of all, your relationships. Have you ever met someone who just tried too hard? They text constantly, always need reassurance, and while their intentions are good, their energy feels heavy, almost like they're begging, not truly connecting. There's no space, no ease. And what usually happens? That desperation drives people away. Now compare that to someone calm, grounded. They show genuine interest, but they also allow space. They don't chase, they invite. And that's exactly why people are drawn to them. That's the power of aligned action when you act with clarity and let go of the need to force anything. You create space, and in that space, the right things begin to flow toward you naturally. Let's look at your career. Maybe you've been hustling for months, sending emails, pitching, networking nonstop, but the results? Still missing. And the harder you push, the more exhausted you feel. Now, picture a different approach. What if instead of panicking, just you trusted your work was enough? What if you stopped chasing and focused on becoming so good they can't ignore you? You sharpen your craft. You build genuine relationships. You take action from confidence, not fear. You allow the right doors to open on their own time. Not sooner, not later. That's not weakness. That's real strength. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do what you must and let what happens happen." That sums up Stoicism. It's not wishful thinking. It's showing up fully, then letting go of what you can't control. Because no matter how much you plan or try, some things will always be out of your hands. And resisting that truth only builds stress and frustration. So how do you live wisely in the real world? How do you bring stoic calm into your daily reality? Try this. Clarify your goal. Know what matters. Make a plan, train, prepare, commit to the work. Release the timing. You don't control when things unfold. Life isn't on your schedule. Even delays can serve a purpose. Trust yourself. Even if it doesn't go as planned, you'll adapt. You'll grow. And maybe something better is already forming. Because life isn't about forcing every outcome. It's about managing your energy. When you stop chasing and start aligning, when you stop forcing and begin flowing, everything begins to shift. This is Stoicism, a timeless truth. And now it's yours to embody. So take a breath, loosen your grip, and trust the process. Because real strength, it doesn't come from control, it comes from within. If this video helped you, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment. I see the signs. Let the world know you're awake now. You're ready.